Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. I'm Nick Park, and back in June I noticed that I had some headlines about the rock band Pearl Jam, who were playing a gig in Dublin. It was in Marley Park, which is a large venue, and the tickets were expensive, €117 for a basic standing ticket. You know, not even a seat, not even a special enclosure or anything. €117 to watch Pearl Jam. Not something I would personally pay, but some people obviously felt that was a good price point at which to pitch the tickets, and people were willing to buy tickets at that rate. But not enough of them. And shortly before the concert, they figured out there was a lot of unsold tickets. And so the cost of tickets was slashed, and people were now able to buy them for €50 each. That's quite a drop, but less than half of what they would have paid at the full price of 117. And then the people who had paid €117 or more for their tickets, they really began to complain. They began to give out stink about how dreadful this was and how unfair it was, and they wanted some of their money back because they were paying more than other people. They'd paid €117 or more, and now they could get tickets for €50. You know what? It reminded me of a parable that Jesus told in Matthew chapter 20, the parable of the workers in the vineyard, about a master who needed work done in his vineyard, and so he hired some workers. And the working day at that time stretched from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. And he hired some workers at 9 o'clock and promised them a set wage. Then he hired some at 12 noon. He needed more workers, and he promised them the same wage if they would work from 12 noon till the end of the day. Then he hired some more at 3 p.m., paid them the same daily rate, even though they were only working from 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. And then he even went out and hired some people at 5 p.m. and said, if you'll come and we need to finish this work, so we need more workers, if you work for this 1 hour, I'll pay you this set amount of money, which was the same rate as he'd been paying the people who'd started at 3, started at noon, and even that he'd been paying the people that started at 9 a.m. Those who started at 9 a.m. began complaining. They said, you know what, we could have waited till 5 p.m. and worked an hour and got the same amount of money. This is not fair. We're being exploited. We're being mistreated. And the master said to them, did you agree to do the work for this amount? They said, yeah. He said, did you agree that was a fair price for the day? They said, yes. He said, well, you're getting paid a fair price for your day's work. What's the problem? The problem, of course, is we like to compare ourselves with others, and we like to compare ourselves with what might have been. And you know what? In the gospel, you get people like this. You get people complaining. I've actually heard Christians complaining about how it's not fair that somebody can get saved right at the end of their life. They can live like a dog for 90 years and then on their deathbed give their heart to Jesus, and they enter into eternal glory and receive salvation on the same basis as somebody who received Jesus when they were a little child. Now, I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding, several fundamental misunderstandings of the gospel for people to feel aggrieved at that. Number one, we should rejoice when anyone comes to Jesus. If somebody comes to Jesus as a child, we should rejoice that somebody else has discovered salvation. And the same whenever somebody's 92 years of age or even on their deathbed, we should rejoice. The second thing we should understand is this, that whatever age you are when you receive Jesus, and however long you serve him for you serve him for the rest of your life, but however long that is, you've still received not only a fair wage, you've received much, much more than you ever deserved, because we all deserved punishment. We all deserved hell for the sin that we have committed, and we've received salvation, which is this free and wonderful gift. So to give out churlishly because some people waited till later in their lives to receive Jesus is a nonsense attitude that betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of the gospel. But there's another big problem with people that complain is that they're acting like to wait until near your deathbed to receive Jesus is somehow a good thing. Because they're acting, even though they're supposed to be Christians, they're acting as if living a life of sin is actually more fun than living life for Jesus. And my testimony as a Christian is that is not true. I discovered Jesus when I was 18 years of age, but I wish I'd received him as Saviour when I was 7 years of age or even younger. I could have saved myself 11 years of heartache and misery and stuff that left me mentally scarred and physically scarred. I could have had 11 wonderful years living for Jesus, and I wasted them before I found Jesus. And I think if I'd waited until my deathbed to find Jesus, yeah, I'd still be saved and still amazing God's amazing grace, but I would have missed out on so much. And that's the fundamental misunderstanding with people that get upset at deathbed conversions. And it's the foolishness of people who want to wait until a deathbed conversion. I think it was the Emperor Constantine, who's often held up as being some kind of Christian hero in certain sections of the church. He didn't get baptized until his deathbed because he wanted to put off as long as possible so he could keep living like a dog and being a rascal. But the fact is, living for Jesus is wonderful. And the longer I can live for Jesus, the more fun I'm going to have along the way. And then I'm going to spend eternity in his presence. God bless you today. Join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda.